Hello everyone, Josh first back again, bringing you guys some more Goddess of Genesis, and this is going to be a video where we're going to be discussing some of the top reroll targets for the global side of the game, which will be dropping in a few hours from the recording of today's video. Now we're going to be using the SEA version to go over some of these units to expect on global that you might want to go for, why we want to go for them, and some of the teams that you could set up with them and how far they can carry you into the game. This is going to be more of a free-to-play friendly video opposed to a casual spender or a whale, though those player bases can also make use of this video, I would assume as well. So if this video was helpful, don't forget to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, take notifications, join us in the Discord in the description below. If you have any thoughts, opinions, or concerns on the matter, let me know down below or in the Discord. There's going to be 3 units that we're going to be discussing mostly, and then we're going to bring up a couple others as well that are also worth mentioning, but there's going to definitely be 3 that's going to be, the top priority that you want to go for. Now understand, on day 7 you will get a free copy of Lucifer. Lucifer is an extremely strong single target damage dealer, and we're going to talk about why she's so good and why she's going to work in the team that you might want to reroll for because of the way that it's laid out and how it can help you going forward, especially as a free to play. There's also going to be a video that we're going to be doing later today talking about summoning, the difference between Genesis turrets, Genesis turrets if we get those on global. I hope we don't, but if we do, we're going to talk about them and how that you can guarantee a Genesis turret will always give you an SSR no matter what if you summon correctly. So we're going to go over all that. But global should have this banner. This is just the general pull banner. Obviously, it's not going to have all these units in here that the SEA has at the moment. But this will be the general pull banner. This will be the banner you're going to be doing your free daily summons on every single day. The way this game works is there's a 50 pity. What that means is you got 50 pulls. If you don't get an SSR, your 50th pull will be an SSR guaranteed. And that does not go between the gear banners and the hero banners, but it does go between all the hero banners. So, for example, in the SEA version, this banner, and this banner, 50 summons, no matter which banner you click your 50 summon on, it's going to pop you an SSR. If you do pull an SSR, it resets, and that includes in a multi as well. So let's say your third pull inside your multi is an SSR and the next 7 aren't. You're now 7 out of 50 towards your next pity, etc., etc. Just a quick little explanation, but we'll talk more about how that works and Genesis turrets and all that other stuff in another video. If global does in fact get Genesis turrets, which hopefully they don't, because I can see where some people don't like it, but if they do, I'm going to teach you all how to use it the proper way, so it's not a big deal. Back to the 3 characters that we want to really talk about though today. Manual. So we have Dracula. This is one of the biggest priorities. This is depending on your play style and what you're really aiming for. This is going to be your first or second priority target, depending. It'll be between him and the next unit we're going to talk about, Valkyrie, and then of course Lucifer. So those are going to be the big 3 characters that we're going to be talking about and going over. What is Dracula? He's a tank. You can clearly see his emblem up here, his insignia. He is a tank through and through. He is a fire type hero. You can see there's elemental charts, final damage plus 30% and damage taken minus 20% if you have the advantage. Obviously, you have an advantage over earth types and you're weak against water. What happens now in this game is you're basically running a team of 8, right? You have 5 main characters and you have 3 support units. If you make a combination of one element between 3 characters or 5 characters, you're going to get the first boost or the second boost. In terms of the fire team, if you run 3 fire heroes, you're going to get all allies crit percentage 15%. If you run 5 fire heroes, you're going to be getting all crit 30%, and that can be any combination between your deployed heroes and your supporters, and vice versa. They don't all have to be on the field. They don't all have to be in your support. You can have a mix of both, but they have to be in your 8-man, 8-woman team, whatever. It's going to be between 15 and 30% depending. The reason why that's important and something that's worth noting is it's going to really go into the rest of the team build that you want to reroll for. Lucifer is an earth type character. So you can kind of see where we're going with this. You have a fire type character you want to go for and an earth type character. What does that mean? Do the math. You're going to make a 5-man earth or fire team, and then you're going to make a 3-man earth, or fire team, and that's going to make up your full 8-man team. So you're going to have 5 fire, 3 earth, or you're going to have 5 earth and 3 fire. That way you're getting the elemental bonuses from both. Now, you don't always need the elemental bonuses because there's some units out there that you kind of just throw in. It messes things up, but they're so good that you just can't keep them out. So there's going to be some light and dark units and even maybe some water units down the road that you might want to pop in for certain types of content that might mess up that 5 and 3 combo. But for the most part, let's try and keep it simple and stick to that earth and fire team, which in my opinion is one of the better teams you can build right now, especially early game and especially free to play. But Dracula being one of the top priority units, because he's one of the better tanks, period, in the game, all the way through to end game. Even with some of the other units that might drop later on from light and dark that are very, very powerful, he still holds his weight. He's very, very solid. So Dracula is definitely a unit that you might want to consider going for. Now, I don't fully know how the banners on Global are going to be laid out. I know we're going to have the general pull banner. I think we're getting an earth and fire banner as well. I'm not sure which currency they're going to use. Hopefully they just use the normal turrets, but we're going to see. But regardless, you definitely want to try and go for Dracula. Another unit to aim for, obviously, that we talked about, the second priority pick here, or first priority, depending, is Valkyrie. Now, the thing about Valkyrie is, if I was reading the global update properly, it seems like Valkyrie and Lucifer are going to be in the same banner, the same Earth banner that's supposedly coming. I don't know if that's 100% accurate. If it is, that's a good way to go in and try and get a Valkyrie and a Lucifer together. Now, granted, you'll miss out on Dracula and you'll have to go into his banner and chase him or whatever, if that's how they set it up. But that's a really good 1-2 punch still to get a Valkyrie and a Lucifer together, and then just go chase for the single Dracula. Now, this game, dupes are very important, but for the beginning of the game, up to maybe mid-game, you can get away with having just one copy of a character, possibly try and chase for one dupe for now. So, and there is a shard system in the game to get shards for your characters that you can still get, throughout the day, every day, for however long. So that is in play. You don't fully have to always summon for characters. You can get them through the grind of the shard system. But yes, so Valkyrie is another tank, and you're thinking, but man, that's 2 tanks. It's the versatility that they offer. They're tanks, but they also provide damage mitigation. They protect your team. They do a lot of different things, and it goes back to the point that if you run a fire team and an earth team, they're gonna do very well with each other based on the characters you're putting in, because Dracula, his whole shtick is to protect your whole team, absorb a lot of that damage, and that's really his main ploy, his main priority. Where Valkyrie's kind of more of like, hey, I'm a tank, but I can also provide a little bit of damage, right? What's cool is, if you look up here and you look at the element bonus for Earth, they get all block for allies 15% or 30%. But since we want to run Lucifer, especially since everyone gets her for free on day 7, most free-to-plays, I would say all free-to-plays, are going to be running Lucifer. Lucifer needs crit percentage. If she crits, she can attack again, making her absolutely ridiculous. So you want to run 5 fire units to get that 30% crit, plus whatever you get from her gear and base stats, to try and make her crit all the time, because then she's going to work as intended. But if you also are running 3 green units, earth units, you're getting 15% block. And since you're running 2 tanks on your team, potentially you could run one on the support if you'd like, if you don't want to run both in the main team. But if you want to run both in the main team or whatever, now you're providing your whole team with a lot of tankiness to survive while letting Lucifer be the hard carry. Let her take on the role as your main DPS and let your other units kind of just support her and protect her, keep her alive so she continues to keep doing damage. Now, there's some really solid healers in this game as well, but Valkyrie and Dracula are the main priorities because you really need that solid tank in your lineup. If you look here, for example, she makes an ally block incoming damage 1 time, duration 2 turns. And then she has her ultimate. Deals physical damage equal to 150% of strength to all enemies. So a nice little AoE there. Damage doubles if there's only one enemy left. So really good if you get down to a situation where you're into a boss fight and you've already cleared out the rest of the horde. Not bad at all. Grants all allies a shield with HP equal to 5%. Valkyrie's max HP. So like I said, she is a tank that can do a little bit of damage, and she's really good at protecting your whole team. And same thing goes for Dracula. Now those shields won't be as effective late game. I don't mean late game, but for begin game, mid game, upwards until like I'd say lower end game, she's gonna be a solid tank alongside Dracula. And Dracula, when Valkyrie starts to fall off, Dracula still is maintaining his position as a top tank. So if you have both those units, you're solid. So the thing I would say to you now is, if you're thinking long term, late game, you might not want to go for Valkyrie as much as you want to go for Dracula. If you want to pick between the two, I would still recommend trying to get all three of these units. But if you want to pick between the two as a priority, Dracula would definitely take the cake. But for clearing story, for me personally, having that ability to do AoE, the AoE shields, the protection, the blocking, that is just too much for me to want to sacrifice, especially going early game, especially being like mostly free to play or a casual spender for, you know, who's targeting in this video. So I would want to go for both. I'd want to get the Valkyrie, I'd want to get the Dracula, I'd want to run them together, make that fire earth team, and then run Lucifer, which is another green unit, and dominate with her being my main DPS. So let's go ahead and talk about Lucifer now. We're not going to go over her as much because we already kind of talked about her. See, she has a talent here. When battle begins, increases crit damage by 15% for one turn. Receives the same effect upon getting an extra turn. Gains an extra turn after basic attack skill or ultimate lands a critical strike. Can only be triggered one time per turn. So she will attack again if she crits. So this again goes into the fact that you want to run a fire team with a green team, and you're going to be benefiting both sides. You're running two tanks, so that increased block percentage will be solid. And your main DPS needs crit, so you want to run a 5-man fire team to get that 30% crit rate for your entire team. And then you can fill out your other 5 slots with some filler or some other characters that could be helpful. And some other characters, just to stay with SSRs, because there's a lot of decent SRs in this game that you could fill in that role with, which a lot of you probably will, and it'll be very diverse, so I don't want to really try and go into it. But if you're talking about other potential SSRs that would fit in this team very well, we have Athena. Athena is going to be very, very good for healing. She's very, very solid. She'd probably be my 3rd or 4th priority target. Or, I'm sorry, 4th or 5th priority target. And the other one would be, where is she at? Cleopatra. This would be your AoE nuker. If you're looking for a really good PvE story farmer and some other dungeons and stuff like that, especially if you're doing co-op, Cleo is going to be your girl. Alright? A unit that's better than her, actually a couple units that are better than her, are like Lilith, for example, Merlin as well. The problem with Merlin is a light unit, and Lilith is dark. So if you're focusing on trying to make a light and dark team, which will eventually become the best team in the game, late game, that's going to be more of like something that a whale would probably chase if those two characters are available day one. I know Merlin should be available day one. I don't think Lilith will, though. She might be. So I could be wrong on that. But Lilith, I believe, did come a little bit later on the SEA version. But they could throw us a curveball and just throw it right in there. I don't know. Hades is also pretty decent as well. He's not as great, but he's decent because he does combo with Lucifer, because there are combo attacks in the game. You can see here we do have combo attacks, combination heroes. But he's also a dark unit, so if you're going to run a green dark, you could. Like I said, you could just go off. You don't have to run full elemental-based teams if you don't want to as well, depending on the situation. But I'm trying to keep it simple for a lot of you new players out there, especially ones that are trying to re-roll. So to recap, top 3 targets: Valkyrie, Lucifer, and Dracula. With Dracula and Valkyrie being the top 2 targets to go for. Those are the main reroll targets. You need at least one of them. You need a solid tank. And if you can pick up a dupe Lucifer, that's just an added bonus, okay? You don't actually have to get her, because you will get her on day 7. If you're patient and wait a week for a DPS, you're going to have to run something else for a DPS until then. But Valkyrie, Dracula, definitely top 2 targets. If you can get both plus Lucifer, you're set. If you can get a Valkyrie and a Lucifer, you're set. If you can get a Dracula and a Lucifer, you're set. Get at least 2 of those 3, or all 3 if you can, and you're good to go, okay? You want to try and make a Fire Earth team, at least early on to mid-game, for a lot of you free-to-plays out there, because that team is going to be stacked, has a lot of good potential units that are going to be coming out, that, you know, that'll come with global release guaranteed, like Cleopatra, for example, Athena. Units like that are going to be solid. There's a lot of SRs. You can go down through the list. Marco Polo is a really good SR, and I believe Marco Polo is Fire Earth. Let me just double check that. Didn't mean to go there. Let me just double check that. Marco Polo. Marco Polo. Oh, never mind. Marco Polo is actually a water-based unit. But very good SR nonetheless. I do know Marco Polo. I used them on the SEA version. It was very, very nice. Jester is also a very good unit, but I believe he is... I think he's dark, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's dark, unfortunately. Loki is pretty decent as well, and that will fit in with your Earth team. So you could throw that in there as a potential option. Hatari Hanzo is also very good as an SR for fire. Venus isn't the best thing in the world, but she is decent. Especially early game, you could go ahead and throw her in there potentially as another option. Because you will pull a lot of these SR guys and gals out there. Trust me, you will pull them galore, okay? And just to end it off here, every rare and SR in the game can go to an SSR. If you didn't know that, every character can go to SSR. So that's something that's also a little unique and nice in this game that, you know, potentially a lot of other gotchas don't have. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Hopefully I explained as much as I needed to. It's kind of a long-winded video, but I wanted to make sure you guys knew exactly why I was choosing these 3 units, why they're so good, and why the team is going to work very, very well. Again, try to aim for 5 fire, 3 green, or 5 green, 3 fire. I'd prefer to go with the 5 fire so you can get that full 30% crit for your Lucifer, which all of you will have. And again, aim for one of those tanks or both if you can, because those are top priority. Depending on how they lay out the banners, we'll have to see. And then I will do another video after global release talking about the banners and anything else that I might need to address for you guys to be on your way and to get started and enjoy and hopefully enjoy Goddess of Genesis S on global. So that's gonna be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any other questions or concerns, again, let me know in the comment section below. Follow me on Twitter at JoshFirst and subscribe to the channel, please. It helps out a lot. And don't forget to like the video, and we'll be back with some more videos soon. So take care. As always, peace.